The apartment smelled like cheap beer and regret when I walked in that Friday night. Marcus was already 3 drinks in, stretched out across my couch like he owned the place, which, honestly, he kind of did considering how much time he spent there. Before the video starts, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Don't forget to support us by subscribing and liking the video. Thumbs up. And after watching, tell me in the comments how you liked the video. His girlfriend had just broken up with him again, and I already knew how the night would go. I'd sit there, listen to him complain about women, nod at the right moments, and pretend my chest didn't tighten every time he said her name. "Jamie, my man," he slurred, raising his beer. "You're the only one who really gets me. You know that?" I dropped my keys on the counter and grabbed a drink from the fridge. "That's what you said last time, Marcus. And the time before that." He laughed, that deep, familiar laugh that always did something to me. "Yeah, but this time I mean it. Sarah said I don't open up enough. Can you believe that? Me, not open." I sat down in the armchair across from him, keeping a careful distance like I always did. Marcus had been my best friend since freshman year of college. And he was also devastatingly, completely, hopelessly straight, or at least, that's what I believed. That's what he believed too. "Women are complicated, man," he went on, taking another long drink. "They want you to be vulnerable, but then they use it against you. They want honesty, but not too much honesty. They want to know everything, until they actually do." "Maybe you're just dating the wrong women," I said carefully. Marcus sat up a little, his eyes slightly unfocused. "Or maybe I'm the problem," he muttered. "Sarah said something before she left. She said I was emotionally unavailable. That I was holding something back. That I was lying to myself about what I really wanted." My heart started to race. I'd heard versions of this before, from his last 3 girlfriends. They all sensed it. Something Marcus either couldn't see, or didn't want to. "What do you think she meant?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. He shrugged and finished his beer before reaching for another. "No idea. I gave her everything. I was a good boyfriend. I did all the right things. But she kept saying it felt like I was just going through the motions, like my heart wasn't really in it. I'd watched this same cycle repeat for 4 years. New girlfriend. Intense beginning. Slow fade. Breakup. Repeat. And every time, the same complaint. He was distant. Somewhere else. Performing, instead of feeling. "Can I ask you something?" Marcus said suddenly, his words loosening more with each drink. "And you have to be honest." "Yeah. Go ahead. Do you think I'm a good person?" The question caught me off guard. "Of course you are. Why would you even ask that?" He stared down at his bottle. "Because I feel like I'm lying all the time," he said quietly. "Not on purpose, but it's like there's this script in my head. About who I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to want, who I'm supposed to love." He paused, his voice softer now. "I follow it because that's what everyone expects. But lately, I've been wondering if the script is even mine, or if someone else wrote it for me." I leaned forward, elbows resting on my knees. "Marcus, what are you trying to say?" He stayed quiet for a moment. I could see it in his eyes, something real trying to break through. Then he laughed it off. That same defense mechanism I knew too well. "I don't know, man. I'm drunk." Maybe he was. But I couldn't ignore it anymore. I'd been in love with Marcus since sophomore year. Since that night we stayed up until sunrise talking about everything, our dreams, our fears, our lives. Since the moment I realized every relationship I tried failed, because none of them were him. I carried that truth like a weight in my chest. Heavy, constant, telling myself it was enough just to be his friend. "You know what the weirdest part is?" Marcus said, his voice softer now, more honest. Every time I'm with a girl, there's this moment where I think about you. My breath caught. Not in a weird way, he added quickly. I just wonder what you're doing. If you're having a better night than me. I don't know, it's just easier talking to you than it is to someone I'm supposed to be in love with. My throat went dry. Sarah noticed, he continued. She said I talked about you too much. She said I lit up every time you texted. She said the only time I looked genuinely happy was when you were around. He let out a quiet breath. She asked me once if I was in love with you. The room felt like it tilted, even though I'd barely touched my drink. What did you tell her? I told her no. Obviously. He forced a small laugh. You're my best friend. You're a guy. And I'm straight. He said it like he was trying to convince himself. I'm straight, Jamie. I've always been straight. I like women. I've only ever dated women. Okay, I said quietly, unsure where this was going. But then she asked me something else, Marcus continued, his voice dropping. She asked if I'd ever imagined what it would be like if you weren't a guy, or if I wasn't straight. He let out a shaky breath. And I got so angry, Jamie. So defensive. Because why would she even ask that? Why would she put that idea in my head? Did you? I asked, barely able to breathe. Imagine it. Marcus looked at me then, really looked at me. And in his eyes, I saw something I'd never seen before. Fear, or maybe recognition. I didn't have to imagine it, he said quietly. It was already there. In the back of my mind. This little voice that kept asking. What if? I didn't know what to say. For years, I had built walls, careful boundaries to protect both of us. And now, with alcohol and honesty, he was tearing them down piece by piece. Do you remember junior year? He asked. Spring break, when everyone went home, but we stayed on campus. I nodded. Of course I remembered. We spent that whole week together, just the two of us. Watching movies, ordering takeout, staying up too late talking about everything and nothing. It was one of the best weeks of my life. I remember lying in your dorm room, he continued softly, watching you fall asleep during that terrible horror movie. And I had this thought, this really clear thought. He paused. I thought, this is what happiness feels like. This is what home feels like. Not with Sarah. Not with Jessica. Not with any of them, here. With you. Marcus, you're drunk, I said quickly, trying to give him a way out. Trying to protect both of us from whatever this was becoming. I know I'm drunk, he said with a bitter laugh. But drunk words are sober thoughts, right? That's what people say. He looked at me again, more serious now. I've been having these thoughts for a long time, Jamie. I kept pushing them down, explaining them away. Telling myself it was just friendship. Just closeness. Just because you understand me better than anyone else. He stood up unsteadily, and I got up too, instinctively reaching out in case he lost his balance. But instead of pulling away, he caught my hand. And held it. The touch sent a shock through my entire body. I need to tell you something, he said, his voice steady despite everything. And I need to say it now, because I don't know if I'll have the courage when I'm sober. You don't have to. I think I've been lying to myself, he cut in. I think I've been so focused on being who everyone expected me to be, that I never stopped to ask what I actually wanted. He swallowed hard. And the worst part is, I think a part of me always knew. Knew what? I whispered. That it's you, he said simply. It's always been you. My chest tightened. Every relationship I've had. I was trying to turn them into you. Trying to recreate the way I feel when I'm with you. But it never worked, because they weren't you. They could never be you. Tears burned behind my eyes. This was everything I had ever wanted to hear, and everything I had been terrified of. Marcus, you're not thinking clearly, I said softly. Tomorrow you're going to wake up and regret this. Maybe, he admitted. But right now, standing here, holding your hand, I feel clearer than I have in years. He let out a breath, his voice shaking. I feel scared. And confused. Like my whole world is turning upside down. But I also feel, right. Does that make sense? It made perfect sense. Terrifying, beautiful, complicated sense. I'm gay, Jamie, he said. Then he let out a stunned laugh. Wow. I'm gay. I actually said it out loud. He shook his head in disbelief. I've thought it before, late at night when I couldn't sleep. When I was lying next to Sarah, or Jessica, or whoever. Thinking about you. But I've never said it out loud until now. How long have you known? I asked gently. I don't know, he admitted. Maybe forever. Maybe just now. He ran a hand through his hair. It's like there were all these signs, all these moments, but I kept ignoring them. Like in high school, when I didn't want to date anyone and my parents got worried. Or in college, when I forced myself to have crushes on girls because that's what I was supposed to do. He looked at me again. Or every time I chose you over whoever I was dating, and told myself it was just because we were such good friends. He sat back down, pulling me with him, and this time, I didn't resist. We ended up on the couch, closer than we had ever allowed ourselves to be. I've been in love with you for 4 years, I said, the words finally spilling out now that there was no turning back. Since that night we stayed up talking about our biggest fears. And you said yours was living a life that wasn't really yours. My voice shook. I remember thinking. I'm falling in love with him. And it's going to break me, because he'll never feel the same way. I'm so sorry, Marcus whispered, his eyes filled with tears. I'm so sorry it took me this long. I'm sorry I made you watch me date all those people. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. I'm sorry I wasted so much time being afraid of what this means. You don't have to apologize for figuring yourself out, I said softly. That's not something you should feel guilty about. Everyone takes their own time. But I hurt you, he said. I've been hurting you for years. And I let you, I admitted. Because having you as a friend, was better than not having you at all. We sat there in silence for a while, both trying to process everything that had just unfolded between us. I could hear the clock ticking on the wall. Cars passing outside. Our breathing slowly falling into the same rhythm. What happens now? Marcus finally asked. Because I meant everything I said. All of it. But I'm also drunk and confused, he admitted. I've never done this before. I've never been with a guy. I've never even kissed one. I don't know what I'm doing. We don't have to figure everything out tonight, I said gently, even though every part of me wanted to close the distance between us. You're going through a lot. You just broke up with Sarah. You just came out to yourself, and to me. That's huge. We can take this slow. What if I wake up tomorrow and panic, he asked. What if I try to convince myself this was just the alcohol talking? Then we'll deal with it, I said. But Marcus, listen to me, whatever you're feeling right now, whatever you've been feeling, that's real. The alcohol didn't create it. It just gave you the courage to say it out loud. He nodded, wiping his eyes. I'm scared, Jamie, he whispered. What are my parents going to say? What are my friends going to think? What does this mean for my life, my future, everything I thought I knew about myself? It means you get to live honestly, I said. It means you can stop pretending and start being yourself. And yeah, some people might not understand. Some might walk away. But the ones who truly care about you, they'll stay. They'll support you. He looked at me, more vulnerable than I'd ever seen him. Will you stay? I didn't hesitate. I've been here for 4 years, waiting for you to see what I saw, I said softly. I'm not going anywhere. He leaned his head against my shoulder, and I wrapped my arm around him, feeling his warmth, his weight, real and grounding. It wasn't romantic. Not yet. It was something deeper. It was the beginning of truth. I don't know how to do this, he murmured. I don't know how to be gay. I don't know the rules, or the culture, or any of it. There's no one way to be, I told him. You're still the same Marcus. The only difference is, you're being honest about who you love. He was quiet for a moment. I love you, he said finally. I think I've loved you for a long time. I just didn't have the courage to admit it. My chest tightened. I love you too, I said. I've loved you through everything, every girlfriend, every late-night conversation, every moment I thought I'd never get to say this out loud. Can we just stay like this for a while, he asked softly. I'm not ready for anything else yet. I just want to sit here, and let this be real. Of course, I said. So we stayed like that, on the couch, as the night slowly faded. His drunkenness softened into quiet exhaustion. And the years of unspoken feelings between us settled into something solid, something real. At some point, he fell asleep with his head still resting on my shoulder. I stayed awake. Watching him. Memorizing the moment, the exact second everything changed. When morning came, I woke up to find him already awake, looking at me with clear eyes and a nervous expression. My heart dropped, bracing for the possibility that he would take it all back. That he'd call it a mistake. That the walls we broke down would go right back up. I remember everything, he said quietly. And I meant it. All of it. Relief flooded through me. I'm terrified, he continued. And I have no idea what I'm doing, but I meant it. You're sure? I asked gently. Yeah, he said, taking a breath. I'm gay, Jamie. I'm gay, and I'm in love with my best friend. I don't know how to navigate any of this, but I'm done lying to myself. I'm done living someone else's life. So, what do you want to do? I asked. He thought for a moment, then smiled, that same smile that had been breaking my heart for years. I want to take you to breakfast, he said. As a date. Our first real date. And then, we figure everything else out slowly. Honestly. Together. I smiled back, something warm and hopeful finally growing inside me. I'd like that. We didn't kiss that morning. We didn't rush into anything. Instead, we went to our favorite diner, sat across from each other in our usual booth, and to anyone else, it probably looked like nothing had changed. Two friends having breakfast. But everything was different. The way he looked at me. The way he reached across the table and held my hand. The way he talked about the future, using we instead of I. It wasn't easy after that. Marcus had to come out to his family. It went better than he expected, but it still came with tears and difficult conversations. He told his friends too. Some stayed. Some slowly drifted away. He had to unlearn years of fear, and let go of everything he thought he was supposed to be. There were moments when he panicked. Moments when he questioned everything. Moments when being honest felt overwhelming. But we faced all of it together. Our first kiss happened 3 weeks later. Clumsy. Nervous. Perfect. Our first real date, just the beginning of something we had both been searching for, without even realizing it. And for the first time in our lives. We weren't following anyone else's script. We were finally writing our own. Our first real date, where we were more than just friends pretending, happened about a month later. And slowly, carefully, we built something real. A year later, we were living together in a new apartment. Not just mine anymore, not a place he visited, but ours. Marcus had come out publicly on social media. A brave, honest post about self-discovery and choosing to live truthfully. It was met with hundreds of supportive messages. He started therapy too, working through everything he had buried for so long. He found a community, people who had also come out later in life, who understood what it felt like to rebuild your identity after years of pretending to be someone else. And for the first time, he was truly happy. Not the surface-level kind. Not the version he performed for others. Real happiness. The distance in him disappeared. The hesitation was gone. He was just Marcus. My Marcus. The person he had always been, hidden beneath fear and expectation. You know what's strange, he said one night, lying beside me, his head resting on my chest. I thought coming out would make my world smaller. I thought I'd lose people, lose opportunities, lose the future I had planned. He paused, then smiled softly. But it actually made everything bigger. He looked up at me. I have more real friends now than I ever did before. I have a relationship that actually feels like love, not obligation. His voice softened. And I finally have myself. The real version, not the edited one. I'm proud of you, I said, gently running my fingers through his hair. You have no idea how strong you've been through all of this. He let out a quiet breath. I'm proud of myself too, he admitted. And I'm grateful, for you. He shifted slightly, looking at me more seriously. For that night. For finally saying what I'd been holding in for so long. And for everything after that. His voice grew quieter. You could have walked away when things got hard. When I had panic attacks about my future, when I didn't know how to tell my parents, when I doubted everything. He shook his head. But you stayed. I told you I would, I reminded him. I waited for years. I could handle anything after that. He lifted his head, meeting my eyes. You don't have to wait anymore, he said softly. This is it. A small smile formed on his lips. You're it. For the rest of my life, you're it. It wasn't a formal proposal. But it felt like something deeper. A promise. A quiet, certain promise that all the waiting, all the confusion, all the years of loving him from a distance had led to this. To us. To something real, something honest, something worth every moment of pain it took to get here. That night when Marcus finally told me everything. That wasn't the end of our story. It was the beginning. The beginning of him living honestly. The beginning of us, finally together. The beginning of a life built on truth, instead of pretending. And every day since then has been another chapter. Another choice, honesty over fear. Love over expectation. Us, over everything else. Because sometimes, the person you've been searching for has been right in front of you all along. Hidden behind the walls we build to protect ourselves from who we really are. And sometimes, it takes a broken heart, a moment of courage, and one honest night. To finally tear those walls down. And see what's been there the whole time. Love. Truth. And the courage to choose both.